Coming up on The Sporting Chef.
I've got venison on a stick, salmon ×2, deer scent, spice scents, and slaw.
What do you get when you find the best fish and game chefs? Cookbook authors, award winners, fishmongers, outdoor experts, and put them on the fastest half hour on outdoor television. Hosted by one of America's best-known wild game chefs, Scott Leysath, The Sporting Chef. Brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Welcome to the show. I have two beautiful venison backstraps here. These are loins, and here's something you're going to hear me say a whole bunch of times. What I don't want you to do is to take these loins, and what I see processors do all the time is they'll cut it into something like this, and then they'll butterfly it, and then they'll pack it back together and they'll wrap it all up. I don't know what the purpose of butterflying these loins is, other than if you wanted to pound them flat or do something else. But the loin, this is the second most tender piece on a deer. So I don't know why you would want to make it thinner, not thicker. So I've got two different kinds of skewers, and this is more of a Mediterranean kebab. I'm going to cube up some of this, and I'll put some mushrooms on the cubed skewer. And this little piece right here, of course, if you can see this ridge of silver skin here, that's got to go. Anything that's not muscle needs to be trimmed. So there's one skewer already, and then I will remove this part right here. All right, cubed pieces here. And then I'm going to take these and make this the strips. Now it's a little discolored right here, if you can see that. All that is a little bit of oxidation. When I go to a meat market, I like to get the steaks that are on sale that are a little bit off colored. They taste great. And if your meat market is going to sell you spoiled meat, don't go back there anyway. So I want this to be a little on the thick side. If it's too thin, it tends to overcook, and it's going to have some marinade on it. I'll keep cubing this up. I'll have cubed, I'll have strips, and you will have one of my all-time favorite fish and game chefs and good buddy, Tiffany Haugan, showing you how she cooks salmon with a Camp Chef pellet grill and smoker.
Hey Scott, the salmon are in, and do I have a seafood delight ready to cook up for you? We're going to do seafood stuffed salmon. We've got some Dungeness crab from the Oregon coast, and if you haven't ever been crabbing out here, you got to give it a try. Some wild bay shrimp, a mixture of half mayonnaise, half Greek yogurt, and then some cheese to top it off. We'll also be sprinkling in a little dill. Since we've got a very thick fillet here, we're going to go ahead and butterfly that open. So we're just going to slice right through the middle of this fish. Now if you have two thin fillets, you can just sandwich those with the filling in between. Make sure not to cut too far through, as it's nice to have a little flap right here. We're going to transition to our foil pouch here. And this is going to be nice because all that filling will be saved right here in this fish. Before we stuff this fish, we're going to give it a little bit of salt and pepper on the outside as well as the inside. Now we're ready to build up those creamy flavors. We'll start with half of the mayonnaise and yogurt mixture. Get that spread around in there. And then again, about half of the crab. Oh, this is going to be good. And about half of these little shrimp. All right, we're going to close this up and add another layer. All right, for that final layer, we're going to take the rest of the mayonnaise and yogurt mixture, pour that on. We're going to add the rest of our crab, the rest of our shrimp, and then we've got the final touch of cheese, and really any kind of cheese that you like. But don't forget the dill. This is a great final flavor for this. All right, so we're ready to close this up. We're going to make a very loose tent because we want that smoke to be able to go through and around this dish. All right, and it's ready to go on the grill. Because we want to cook this salmon at high heat, we're using the grill function of this pellet grill smoker. And we've got our temperature up to 400 degrees. It's ready to go on. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes per inch or so of thickness of fish. Luckily, we have a temperature probe that'll take care of the guesswork. We've got some great Pacific Northwest flavors here. We've got salmon, shrimp, Dungeness crab, all melded together with a creamy, cheesy sauce. And the added flavor of the smokiness from the pellet grill. This is gonna be a great dinner, Scott.
So you have to check out TiffanyHaugan.com. She has a great selection of fish and game cookbooks for anything with fur, fins, and feathers. Again, check her out. I love her stuff, and she can obviously cook. For my skewers, my Mediterranean kebab type skewers, I've got Worcestershire. A little Worcestershire goes a long way, but this one's going to be kind of pronounced Worcestershire flavor. Worcestershire is also very high in sodium, so if you don't like sodium, don't go there. Low sodium soy sauce because it's salty already. Vinegar, olive oil, lemon juice, high mountain garlic pepper and rub, garlic, onion. This is all going to go into my marinade and dipping sauces. But first, I've got a tip that's going to not only make your produce taste better, it's going to save you some money. You know, I always buy produce when it's in season and on sale. I got these for just under $1 a pound. I'm going to want to have bell peppers when they're not in season, so what I do with them is this. Cut them in half, pull the core out, put them into a food saver bag like these portion control pouches. And these portion pouches are very cool because you just pull them apart, put your date on here, and when peppers aren't in season, you'll be able to impress your friends with delicious, beautiful, out-of-season produce. Man, they're going to wonder if you got a raise. More meat, salmon, spices, essence of deer, and buddy. Right here. Come on. Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. I am Scott Leysath, and I'm making venison skewers, venison on a stick. I'm going to make a couple of marinade sauces. I have my cubed venison loin over here, my back strap, and into this first marinade, they're all going to have olive oil. So while I'm over here, I'll go over to the other one and put the olive oil in here. And any kind of oil will do. It doesn't have to be olive oil. This one is going to be more Worcestershire. It's going to have a little bit more pronounced flavor. And use a fairly liberal amount of Worcestershire here. This is cider vinegar. You can use red wine vinegar. You could use balsamic vinegar. I'm going to season this one with the High Mountain garlic pepper seasoning and rub. That's number one. Over here, with that olive oil, I have soy sauce, a low sodium soy sauce, some fresh squeezed lemon juice, and a little extra out of the bottle, just because I was low on lemons, some chopped fresh garlic, and I'm going to put some High Mountain venison rub on this one, and then I will whisk, starting with the green bowl. This is going to be my marinade, and I've also made an extra batch of both of these marinades so that I have a dipping sauce for afterwards. But over here, with my strip skewers, I'm going to give that a toss and put this in the refrigerator for at least an hour or so. Over here with the cubed pieces, that's going to go in my soy sauce, lemon-based marinade. And while this is sitting there doing its thing, I've got two good buddies of mine. I've got Cee Dub, who you know, and Hans Hummel from High Mountain Seasoning, and they're going to show you what they know about making sausage.
Okay, thanks, Scott. We're here with my good buddy, Hans Hummel. We're going to make some sausage, and Hans come up with some wild boar, so we're going to start grinding it. And Hans, what are we going to make it?
You bet. We're going to turn it into summer sausage today. We've got our beef already cut up. We've got the wild boar here, some of it chunked up. I'm going to finish this up. We're going to grind it, and then we're going to go from there.
I'm going to take about a pound of this feral hog, wild boar, and about 2 pounds of our beef. And I'm going to start mixing that, and you tell us about the seasonings we're using today.
You bet. What we have here is our Hunter's Blend summer sausage seasoning. It's one of our 4 different summer sausage blends. Each kit comes complete with cure and seasoning and enough casings to do 30 pounds of meat. Each log in the casings will do 3 pounds. We've pre-mixed the cure and the seasoning for 3 pounds of meat, and we have our water ready. We've already pre-soaked our casing, so when we stuff it, it'll be a lot easier to use.
So what we're doing here now is we're getting our meat mixed up, our beef and our pork, And then we're going to go in with our seasonings.
I'll put it in our vertical Weston sausage stuffer and go from there. You know, I don't want to scare people off. You can actually do this by hand. You can take your actual casing right here, take the meat that you mix by hand, and stuff the casing by hand. You want to twist it down so you get a tight pack. And that's as simple as it can be.
What I like about this is you can do a lot of meat in a short amount of time. This will hold 7 pounds. And so what we're going to do, we're going to just load our barrel with our ground meat. So we're going to run this down until I can just feel it right there on the end of my tube. But Hans is going to put the casing on.
It's pre-soaked.
Pre-soaked, and he's just going to keep tension on the barrel to get that product, the tension he wants. So we're just going to run all of this down about right there. That's pretty close to that. What we've got left within the tube.
So what we have here is your summer sausage chub. We'll go ahead and make sure it's packed down. You want to squeeze it tight. You want to take the cord here on the end. Go ahead and slice it. Can you get that for me, Cee Dub?
Sure. Just cut it off.
Yeah, just cut it off. Yep. And that's what we use to tie on the other end.
And now we're going to put this in the smoker. Is that correct?
That's correct. The instructions are included. It's foolproof, Scott. Even you can do it. You can do it in your oven, your smoker, and it's that simple.
Thanks, Cee Dub and Hans. I have venison backstrap. I'm going to assume incorrectly, but we're playing around here. This has been marinated for 2 to 3 hours in the refrigerator. Mushroom, hunk of marinated meat. You could throw a couple of bell peppers in there if you wanted some color on it also. Let me show you how I skewer these big daddies on here. And what I mentioned before is with these skewers, if you soak them in water, they won't burn as fast, but I've found that they're going to burn anyway. So you just kind of thread it on here. And once I get enough of these on here, I'm going to throw it on the grill. But first, here's Melissa Bachman.
When it comes to using scents and attractants for your deer hunts, a high-quality scent is essential. And with Special Golden Esters, every single bottle has its own unique serial number and use-by date, so you know it's fresh. A buck's sense of smell is incredible, so you want to ensure you're using the scent he's looking for. Special Golden Estrus uses fresh and super premium natural doe urine with estrus secretions to bring those big bucks in close. I like to set it up on a key wick about 6 feet above the ground for maximum scent dispersal. I put these around the perimeter of my hunting location and at my maximum shooting range, so that way you can bring those big boys in close.
More meat on sticks, salmon, John McGannon, and Buddy T. Up next on The Sporting Chef. Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. I'm Scott Leysath. I have right here some skewered venison loin, venison backstrap that's been marinated. I got the cubed stuff over here. It's going on to the Camp Chef grill box. I'm going to have these skewer ends kind of hang off the side. And this is going to cook very, very quickly. Over here, the cubed. And on this side, I've got some green onions. I'm going to leave the lid open. I don't want it to be steam heat. I want this to be grilled, seared on the outside, and I want you to watch this great salmon segment. It's father and son from the Michael David Winery.
We're here at Phillips Farms, Michael David Winery, to share our barbecued salmon recipes. So, first thing we do was to put some nice Lodi olive oil that we have here in the pan to cover the bottom. We got beautiful sockeye salmon. This is the darkest red colored salmon there is. So we're just going to line things up. Okay, the next step is putting a sauce on it.
So this is our Earthquake Cabernet barbecue sauce. This consists of a cup of molasses, 2 cups of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 12 ounces tomato paste, 12 ounces tomato sauce, chili paprika, garlic powder, 4 cups of Earthquake Cabernet wine, 6 ounces of pineapple juice, and a cup of apple juice. And we cut that about 1/3 mayonnaise, a couple cups of Meyer lemon juice, Mix that up real well till it's a nice saucy consistency.
We just cover the fish with it to make sure it doesn't dry out. Gives you a little more leeway there with cooking time. We're going to probably put the vegetables on top. We put tons and tons of vegetables. So this is a complete meal when you cook this. You want to make it very colorful, of course. Add a lot of different flavors with the tomato and onion, the bell pepper, a little bit of garlic, and I all of a sudden started liking a little jalapeno on top to give it a little more kick. Okay, so we're going to start with the smaller vegetables. So this is the fresh onions that we grow here on the farm. Probably the onion on next because that takes a little longer to cook sometimes. Bell pepper, mixed colors. So that's a big part of presentation, is making it look so good. Throw some zucchini on. I'm gonna have Kevin go grab some foil and put it on top so that it'll cook more evenly from the top down also. I'll roll this back so we can get it. Next things added. Decent tomatoes, so plenty of blowing away there. Garlic on top. I think I'm going to throw some jalapenos on it right now too, as long as we're doing it. I'm going to cover that back up, and still got one more step to do. A lot of people don't cook with cheese, with fish, but we love cooking it with our salmon. Adds another flavor, texture to it. I'm going to top it off with some fresh Meyer lemon juice again. I like the lemon juice. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes here with the foil to melt the cheese, and then we'll be done. This is what it looks like, finished product. Everything melted and blended together. Ready or not? Here we go. Yummy. Scott, now is your invitation to Alaska to come sockeye fishing with Kevin and I. See what it's all about up there, and to get sockeye cooked right on the bank right after you catch it. Doesn't get any better than that, except here right now. This is pretty good stuff.
Now, if you're ever in the Lodi, California area, south of Sacramento, just above Stockton, check out the Michael David Winery. And of course, their wines are legendary. I love them. These guys hunt and fish. I've got deer skewers here. I'm going to give them a flip. You're going to watch John McGannon give you a tip about how to make your spices taste even better than they do now.
Okay, Scott, I have a great tip for you. Whenever you're dealing with spices, always buy them in whole form. Never buy the pre-ground up ones because the flavor dissipates really fast. And another thing, what I normally do is I'll take something like this cumin, and I have some coriander seeds, and in a dry pan, lightly toast them. And the fragrance that you get out of that, it's like comparing a raw onion to a caramelized onion. It takes on a completely different flavor profile that really is special. So we will pop that up, and basically what you want to do is just lightly toast it over the top, kind of stirring it. You could also do this and just stick it in the oven for maybe 5 minutes. Depending upon what flavor you're looking for, you can toast it to a dark stage, to a light golden stage. It really varies, and it will have a little bit different characteristic. All right, so now here we are. We got a nice golden touch on our cumin and coriander. We're gonna let that cool for half a second, grind it up. And if you want your food to pop with flavor, this is the way to go with your spicing. It's as simple as that.
The meat's coming off because I don't want it overcooked. I want it to be nice and tender. Buddy knows deer, but he also knows slaw.
It's Buddy T, and we're going to talk coleslaw today. This ain't quite a half a head of cabbage. You don't really need to measure a lot of this stuff real close, but it's some buttermilk, 2 tablespoons maybe, squirted as Miracle Whip. Might be 3 tablespoons of that. Got us a little bit of vinegar, put that in there. A little salt, pepper. Squeeze it as lemon. Like to hit it with some of this High Mountain Trail dust. I'm gonna put a little artificial sweetener. This is that stevia stuff. Put 2 packages of that in there because I like my coleslaw a little bit sweet. If you're gonna be serving this to some of your friends that got a little culture, go through the extra trouble of grating up some carrots. Put Put your little dried fruit in there, some of them crazy kind of things. And it's best to let this stuff sit like overnight, but most of the time I can't wait quite that long. There you go. That's a badass coleslaw. Buddy T signing off.
Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. We had a whole bunch of people on today's show. Some of my favorite folks. This is some of my favorite food, of course. This is not overcooked venison. And I've got a little dipping sauce that I'm going to put over the top. You can also serve this on the side. There's that one. There's the other one. When you're making your marinades and your dipping sauces, just double the batch, make a little extra. Special thanks today to Tiffany Haugan, who I love, and her cookbooks are the best out there. We've got the father-son duo from the Michael David Winery, Hummel and Cee Dub, Melissa Bachman, John McGannon, and Buddy. Find out more about all of these people, get clips from the show at sportingchef.com. And we really, really want you to hang out with us on Facebook and Twitter and all those other social media places. I'm Scott Leysath, the Sporting Chef. Thanks for watching, and I do hope to see you next week.